those red flags were there from the beginning. A lot of times when we're dating, especially when we're dating narcissists, not just toxic people, but narcissists in general, the red flags are always there. They're always there. And when you look back, you're like, man, I was right. My gut was screaming at me and I was ignoring it, but the red flags were there. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Psychopath Exposure. I'm your host, Kita. I wanted to talk about that thing that happens in your stomach, those butterflies in your stomach, the little anxiety that you feel in your stomach when you know something's going on with your partner, with your girlfriend, your boyfriend, husband, wife, when you know there's something off, when you have that gut feeling that they're cheating, that they're lying, that they're not telling you the truth. You know what I'm talking about. If you're watching this channel, if you're a member of this community, you've gone through this feeling hundreds of times in your relationship, and rather than doing something about it, confronting your partner, you're so afraid of being right. You're so afraid of being right that you rather look the other way. And I want to read a comment that came in today that got my attention, because I can not only empathize with it, but I resonate with it because I went through it. This one comes from Santo Parfano. He goes, "Trust your gut, folks. If I would have trusted mine, I would have walked away from my narc wife of 28 years early on." Yup, almost 3 decades. And I recently woke up out of the narcissistic fog. Looking back, I now see so many red flags and patterns of her infidelity, etc. I caught her cheating with a buddy in 2015, and looking back, almost all of my friendships while with her ended the same way, where they started acting weird, pulled away, and became infatuated with my wife, where she would become, quote unquote, close to my buddies. Me being overly trusting would just trust that they were just good friends, despite the red flags. She was so highly manipulative and would convince me that nothing was going on. Now I see the patterns. She cheated with at least 4 of my buddies. 4. Yeah. Good riddance, because they weren't my friends, apparently. I will never ignore red flags and will always cut out disrespectful people. She got disrespectful a month into our relationship. Never again. Well, damn. 28 years, huh? That's horrible, but thanks for sending that in, and I'm glad you woke up. I'm glad you finally got out, because it could have been another 28 years. Let's just be real here, right? At that time, people start thinking, hey, you know what? I've already invested so much time. She's the mother of my children, and we have all these memories, and we have this house, and we've invested so much into this marriage, and it just is what it is. And you stay in that toxic environment. You stay with that person, and you hate yourself. Let's be real. You hate yourself. You're miserable. And you know what you got to do, but you don't have the strength to do it. And at that point, you give up. So I'm glad that you got out of that situation. And it's a shame that those red flags were there from the beginning. A lot of times when we're dating, especially when we're dating narcissists, not just toxic people, but narcissists in general, the red flags are always there. They're always there. And when you look back, you're like, man, I was right. My gut was screaming at me and I was ignoring it, but the red flags were there. Sometimes your friends were warning you. I know my friends didn't particularly like my psychopath ex. She was very antisocial. She would be in those parties while we're all having a great time, and she wouldn't utter a word. She would have this shit face all the time. And it was from the beginning. I was like, what the hell is wrong with you? But, you know, you always want to give your partner the benefit of the doubt, right? But looking back now, I bet you kick yourself in the ass for ignoring those red flags, don't you? She cheated on you with 4 of your buddies. I mean, that's absurd. But like you said, those weren't your friends anyway. Apparently, those aren't your buddies. I mean, I would tell you it's time to start paying attention to who you surround yourself with, because that's 4 friends that betrayed you. It's not just your ex-wife here that cheated and betrayed you, but 4 of your friends also betrayed you. 4 of your friends betrayed you. You can't just blame her. It's the type of people that you're allowing into your life are untrustworthy people. Honestly, they're pieces of shit. If any of these people were actually your friends, they wouldn't have even gotten that close to your wife. Because from what it sounds like, they were pretty much infatuated. And you would see that and you would feel it. But as he said, you're overly trustworthy. You know, you were turning the other cheek. But something was wrong. That's not right. So something uncanny about that, and you feel it, and it drives you nuts, and it's in the pit of your stomach. Guys, you have to trust your gut. I know it was hard for me. I mean, I would feel that, and I would also look the other way. I didn't want to be that guy. I didn't want to be that jealous guy. Wish I would have been. I wish I would have been. I would have eventually stopped. I would have stopped this earlier, and that would have been the end of it. Of course, the relationship would have ended much sooner too. Would have been the end of that too, right? So that's the thing. You really have to question yourself. What is it that you're afraid to lose when something like this is going on? What are you afraid to lose? Because if we're being real, if that's already happening, you've already lost that relationship. That's already over. It only exists in your mind at this point. But that relationship is over. And those friendships, those people that slept with your wife, or the other way around, if it's your husband and your girlfriends are sleeping with your husband, those friendships are over too. You can't salvage that. You'll never trust them again. Why would you want to keep a relationship with anybody that would do something like that? You know, so you start doing some self-reflection. You know, when you go through stuff like this, if you don't do the self-reflection, if you don't do the work to figure out, you know, how is it that I allowed toxic people into my life, and how did I put up with this shit for so long, where they infiltrated layers and layers deep to the point that, you know, even your friends were backstabbing you. It wasn't just your wife, it was your friends. Are they all narcissists? Probably not. They're just scumbags, you know, or maybe there was a part of you back then that was a little too naive, a little too forgiving. And, you know, in this world, in this planet, you can't be blind to what's out there. There's evil out there in the world. And even if it's not evil, there's people that are going to do what they have to do to get theirs. And there's people that have different morals and values and upbringings than you. And some people believe, hey, it's all fair game. If she's into me, hey, you know. And it's like, well, what about your loyalty to your friend? No, it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. So are those the people that you want to be friends with? I would personally stay away from people like that. Even if they haven't done anything to me yet, if I see that that's what they do with their friends and their relationships, I wouldn't want them close to me whatsoever. I wouldn't let them near my girlfriend. I made that mistake a long time ago once, and that was a mistake, and I knew it, and I was right. Well, that relationship's over. I'll never make that mistake again. And I promise you, if you don't learn from your mistakes, the situation will repeat itself again with somebody new at a future point in your life. Guaranteed. If you don't learn your lessons, you will face the same challenge. And the kicker is that it's going to be harder and harder each time that you fail. Each and every time. It's like, okay, you didn't learn this time? Okay. Now tell me what you think. Oh, you still don't want to see what's in front of you? You still want to turn the other cheek? You still don't want to take action? You still don't want to confront the situation? You want to punk out? Okay. Then life hits you a little bit harder, a little bit harder, a little bit harder, until eventually it gets your attention. I'm sorry it took 28 years for it to get your attention, but it got your attention, didn't it? And now looking back, you can connect all the dots. And if anything, you can pat yourself on the back because you were right all along. Don't you wish you would have done this sooner? That's the thing that plagues a lot of us. A lot of us is once we get out of these toxic entanglements with narcissists, with psychopaths, just with abusive people in general, users, whatever, and you realize, wow, I could have done this a long time ago. What stopped me? What was getting in my way? Oh, I know now. I was getting in my own way. But once you do it, you realize it wasn't so hard at all. It's usually harder in our head. The idea of, oh no, I have to break up and we have to divide our assets, or obviously a divorce is a fucking hassle and a half. How are we going to tell our parents? How are we going to tell our friends? We have mutual friends and we already have those tickets for next year for a vacation that we already have planned. Is it worth it? Is it worth it 28 years later? Is it worth it? It's not. You can go to that vacation with somebody else. If anything, you lose the money, big deal, but at least you won't lose your sanity. You got to get out of these toxic situations. You can't stick around with a spouse that's sleeping around with your friends and probably sleeping around with other people, with coworkers that you don't even know about. You also can't have friends and you can't trust them with your partner. What a horrible, horrible, horrible people those guys turned out to be. And I'm sure they'll, I don't know if you ever confronted them, but I'm sure they blamed her, right? Hey, she came on to me, yada, yada, yada. Nah, dude, don't buy into that shit. They're just as guilty. They're just as guilty. They had no loyalty for you. Clearly they had no empathy to even, were they even thinking what you would feel if you found out, if they got caught? Were they even considering that? Of course not. Where are they now? Sure hope you're not friends with them. Sure hope you're not keeping tabs. Sure hope you're not following them on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok. Those friendships need to be buried 6 feet deep. So that's my take on that, man. I hope you are in a better place and you continue moving forward. And this goes for everyone that has gotten out of an abusive, narcissistic relationship, or just been in a bad situation where there's been infidelity and cheating and betrayal. Hope you guys are getting out of that situation, and if you're out, you're moving forward, doing whatever you got to do to get back to who you used to be, the things you used to love and enjoy. Be able to put that behind you no matter how hard it is. Life and time keeps going forward. You got to move forward, or you'll be stuck ruminating about this shit for the rest of your life. Meanwhile, the abuser is out there doing the same thing to somebody else, not giving a fuck. So sound off in the comments below if you resonate with this video and with this comment, because yeah, man, 28 years is a damn long time to be forgiving a lying, cheating, abusive piece of shit like that, man. So good for you that you got out. And for the rest of you, if you got some value out of this, I would appreciate if you drop a like on the video and leave your thoughts and comments below. And I usually like to take a screen grab of something that resonates, something, a talking point, and continue making videos for you guys. Oh, and have I ever mentioned that I have a private coaching program for those that are still stuck in a narcissistic entanglement, for those that are still stuck ruminating and can't get out of their head and can't move forward? If you'd like more information on how you can work directly with me on private counseling and coaching, visit the link below in the description and see if we're a good fit for each other. Love to work with you, love to help you get out of this nightmare. It's not easy, it takes time, it's not something you can do with a flip of a switch. It takes a lot of work and it takes a lot of courage to even want to seek out the help. But like everything else, once you do it and your life gets better, you're gonna ask yourself, why didn't I do it sooner? I could have done it sooner. I could have spared myself all this pain. So do not hesitate to contact me, all right? Hope you guys are having an awesome night. I will see you in the next video. My name is Kira, and this is Psychopath Exposure. Have a great, great, great and fabulous evening. See you guys next time. Peace.